want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Clear sky. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down.
Hey guys, before I start the stream I have to do a little test flight, okay? Hey, hello there. It's not often that I do a stream. In fact, most of the time I do recordings because a lot of the times I get too many family interruptions, people busting through my the door into my room. So everybody's out at the moment, so I'm going to take the opportunity to do the stream. This is Narita Airport in Japan. It's not payware. It's one I probably found freeware and downloaded it. It's acceptable. Obviously it wouldn't be as good as, I think, as a RJAA or someone on some other crowd who does it. This is all your passenger terminal areas, and because we're going to be flying the IXEG Boeing 737-300 in cargo form, I've got the aircraft parked over in the cargo area. Today's flight in this is going to be between Narita and Kagashima. Kagashima, what I'll do is I'll bring over a little nav map and give you an idea as to what the route is today. So here we have Narita up halfway up the island of Honshu. We're going to be travelling all the way down to Kagashima. I think this is Kyushu, is it, the island? I'm not quite sure. I used to know all the different islands of Japan, the Japan archipelago. So we're going to be flying in here and landing on, it looks like it's going to be runway 34. Just going back up there now to Narita. Let's come back off that a bit. I've already got the SID in. This is on the assumption I'm going to be flying out of runway 34 left. That's what SimBrief's given me, and probably also hello Kembo25. Thanks for joining, mate. Hope you enjoy this. It's been a long time since I've done a stream, so I'm a bit fingers and thumbs at the moment. So getting back to this, to fly out of Narita, you can see that the SID requires the aircraft to fly up and around, then back over the airport and down this way. Now that's obviously to so that you don't fly over the CBD and the main city of Tokyo. I've flown this SID before, and it's good scenery as long as the weather's okay. I'm flying out of runway 34 left because that's what SimBrief's given me as the most likely runway to use. Now I'll just slip this back over here out of the way, and the next thing will pop up is we'll have a look at our active sky. Active sky is telling us that expected weather conditions there, the wind direction 310 at 4 knots, so pretty quiet. It looks like all the visibility's okay, so there's a few clouds at 3,000 scattered. It looks like we've got some good weather. QNH is 1019, which I've got to remember. Usually what I do is I write it down rather than flip backwards and forwards looking for it. Okay, so and the candidate runways for landing, which will obviously be based on winds only, there's 34 left and 34 right. So what SimBrief has given me is pretty good. That's all we need. Okay, let's get that out of the way. I've already opened the cargo hatches here. That's the only thing, unfortunately, that you can do on the IXEG. The front door won't open. It's one of these things that people have cried out for a lot from IXEG, but they don't seem to be too keen on it. They're going to fix up the FMC, but that's been a long-term job as well. Anyway, let's get inside and we'll get up and start up our power first off. Might have to adjust my sound settings on this. We'll see how we go. But to do that, of course, you've got to do that in the this little pop-out menu under Preferences. I might just pull the master sound over a bit, cockpit sound over a bit. We can adjust that. Okay, so the next thing we must do, of course, is we've got to put our connect our ground power unit, bring it on. Just leave this to one side for the moment, and we'll go up and we'll align our IRS, and we can see how long it's going to take. 7 minutes. This I normally just put on the window heating now at this point, and also I put on the galley. Guess we've got enough power. Now while that's being done, this is where I usually like to put in our fuel and cargo. So going off SimBrief again, it's oh, there we go. It's cutting in nicely. Just might drop the sound on that a bit. That should be cockpit sound in that one. I hope that sounds better. Welcome to the stream, Vixion. Yep, I hope there's something to be learned from it. I'm by no means an expert on it, but it is a great little aircraft to fly. Okay, let's get back to our fuel now. According to SimBrief, our block fuel is a 20876. Now I work in pounds. So all we do is we just put that up to 20.8. And because we want to put it in straight away, just hit instant and the fuel will load. I'm not carrying a lot of that because it's a cargo aircraft. I'm carrying no passengers. Sorry, there'll be 2 on board. I think if I remember right when I made this, it's about 5 tonnes of cargo. Next thing we do, of course, we go down to our load sheet and we put in what our zero fuel weight is. And in this particular case, it's 81891. So we've got to come back. So she's very light today. I could have put a lot more cargo in, but I just wasn't quite sure how to handle it. So there's our 81.8. That's all we need to do here for the moment. Okay, if we go up top, we'll see we've still got another, that'll look 7, isn't it? 7 minutes before the alignment comes through, so we'll get down and fill in our FMC. You can't move the yoke out of the way in this particular add-on. I don't know why that is. You can bring it up and down a bit, but can't move it. Not that it's a big deal. Let's get in the FMC and deposit it. In this case, it's a Romeo, where are you? Juliet, Alpha Alpha. Next page, there's our one to use. We'll come back up again. Oh, there we go. Route. Okay, it's there. And Kagashima is, where are we here? It's Romeo, Juliet, Foxtrot Kilo. Romeo, Juliet, Foxtrot Kilo. Our flight number, the DHL ICA coding for them is it's Delta HK. It's not DHA, it's DHK, and we're going to put a number on there of 303. That's our flight number. Company route, SimBrief have given us that, so we go Romeo, Juliet, Foxtrot Kilo. I'm just being very careful here that I don't get them mixed up. So that should just propagate. There we go. We can activate. Hit the exit key, our route. There it is. And we go back and have a look at that later to make sure everything's right, because that's our legs there. Back to the menu, go to our index, and now we want our POS in it. No, sorry, our performance. Now, because I hit the inst key, where are we here? Because I hit the instant key there, everything's loaded, so all we have to do is just enter in the zero fuel weight, or we can do the total weight, but let's just enter in the zero fuel weight, and it's 818. and it's a decimal 9. That can't be an invalid entry. What are you talking about? 818. Should be able to do that. I wonder if it'll do it by itself. Just hang on a second. Nope. It should enter that in. Try the gross weight. Just 101.7. That's better. Oh, that should have been just an 81 decimal something. I put 3 figures in. That's okay. Our reserve fuel's 2. Cost index on this is 80. Our flight level today should be 320. Our cruise wind is going to be 276. 139. Our outside temperature at that height is minus 46 Celsius. Transition altitude, it's not 18 over there. I'll just have a quick check. I think it's about 11, but I'll double check that. No, it's 14,000. Okay, we can execute that. N1 limit. You can select the outside temperature if you want for the, or you could just go by one of these. What I usually do is I use a flex, say, of 44.5, and that'll give us an 80, gee, that's a lot, 85% reduction. It's probably a little bit on the low side. Maybe I should take that up to, say, about, let's try 50 at this stage, see what it does. No, that's still too much. Come back down. 40. Yeah, much lower temperature. Anyway, we'll go with that. Flaps 5, here's our V speeds. We can put those across straight away. Our trim is 4.2. Just check that. Okay, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. It's right on 4. You could probably bring it down just a fraction. That's about all you'd need. Okay, let's we'll go up quickly to our panel and we'll put on our flight director straight away, and we'll put in our B1 speed, which is, gee, that's low, isn't it? Well, it is light. I don't have much of a cargo in it at all. Yeah, that is extremely light. Altitude, ATC aren't on, so we're just going to go straight up to cruising height, which is 3.2. No, I don't, Vixen. I suppose, oh, look, there should be no reason why we can go 40,000 feet if if your weights are right. Okay, now our runway heading, which we may as well put in here now, is 336 degrees. Okay, so that sets us up there. Now what I'm going to do is I'll get rid of that. We don't need that right now. Let's look over and get our Navi tab on, and Narita is Romeo Juliet Alpha Alpha. Gee, g'day Black Knight, long time no see. Okay, here's our airport, and this is where we are at the moment. And assuming runway 34 left will be the one, we're going to do some taxiing from way back here onto that particular taxiway. Looks like there's two there, and all the way down to there. Okay, let's have a look at our departure. And you saw it before on that little nav map, so that gives you an idea. It's going to be the Tetra 8, runway 34 left. Coming a bit closer. And this will be pretty much a repeat of what was on a little nav map. You can see here, runway here. We'll be going up. Oh, hang on, it's the one on the left here, so we'll be following this course up and around, up, back over the airport, and then down to our first waypoint, which is this Shizuoka. I'm not very good at Japanese names. Although here's the Tetra. Oh, hang on, that's no, that's something altogether different. It's down to Tetra. So if we go down here and look at our legs, we should hopefully see Tetra somewhere there, but we don't. I think it's because I haven't put in the SID in the FMC, so we'll do that now. Okay, departure should be on the 34 left, down to Tetra, back up again, Tetra 8. Let's see what happens here. Legs, Tetra. Next one is S with Sierra Zulu Echo. I think we're safe in putting this one here. Anyway, we can change it if we have to. So execute that. We'll do a check on our modes. By the way, our IRS is all aligned now, so we're okay there. So here's our steps now. I'll just go back and here we go. So we should see our turn up and around, over, back, over the airfield, down to Tetra, and there we go. It takes us all the way down. So while we've got it, let's do our arrival, because this is a problem you can have with the FMC in the IXEG, is if you don't put in your arrival now and want to change it, you know, as you're coming in, it can play up a lot. They're trying to fix it. I think they've fixed it, a fair bit of it, but it's not 100%, so just got to watch that. So we're going to be looking at arrival at runway 34. Kagashima. Okay, so it'll be an ILS. We've got either a Yankee or a Zulu. Let's go for the Zulu. And our star for that should be Simaz E, which we'll put in. We'll hit the enter. Look at our legs. We'll go through them, make sure there's no discos. Looking good. Go back, next page, we'll go over to look at our mode, our plan, and we'll run through it. all the way down, Honshu, Kyushu, all the way down. And there you see the entry, the star into runway 34 Kagashima. And there's our missed approach. Great, so that looks good. Okay, quick look. Oh, supposed to be inside, not outside. Just a quick look here. We don't need this anymore. We just go back to our gate. How are you, Mahan? I can never pronounce it. It should be Mahan Air. Okay. Welcome to the stream. Just looking back here to Black Knight, it has been a long time. The reason being too is I've been doing a lot of Microsoft flight sim stuff, but after a while you need to get back to the old things again. Dougal, yeah, look what we got here. Yeah, notice I'm not flying the dog. Anyway, does make a change, doesn't it? Now let's get our fuel on. I should have put on our position light. And what are we going to do? What I'll do is get the old APU up and running. This is on. Make sure this is not on. I'll put that on auto, otherwise. Already they're freezing to death up there. Should have looked at that earlier. Okay, while the APU is firing up, let's set our altitude here. Oh, where am I going? 32. There we go. Okay, so we got to set our cabin altitude. 32 is 6. 60, that's okay. Landing altitude, I'm not going to worry about that just yet. What I have to remember also is we've got to flick down over the flight when we get going. Okay, we should have our APU power on now. And we put in our bleed here. I might do our yaw damp. It's a bit early, I know, but I do that because I tend to forget. Let's have a look and see if we've got any. Yeah, we do have a bit of fuel in the centre tank, so I'm probably going to have to put those on. It'll drain out in no time. Okay, so everything's looking good. Let's have a look at our transponder. It's on, where is it? TA. Leave it on TA for the moment. That goes off. We've got to set this over here, RTO. Oh my Godfather, everybody's turned up. Shaquille, Oatmeal, g'day, how are you? What's that deal? This is one of the very few birds I never bought for X-Plane. Actual fact, this was the first jetliner I ever bought for X-Plane. It still is a lot of money though. I think by rights they should drop their price on it a bit and then fix it up, because it's not 100%. There's still a lot of things to do on it, which is a nuisance really. Okay, now we won't need pushback. Oh yes, we will. Yep, we're going to have to call for pushback. Thought we may be able to go straight off the stand, but we can't. Okay, our APU is running well. I think that's about it. Everything's looking cool up here. I'll put our anti-collision on. I've set that up. Our passengers still freezing to death. Actually, we got no passengers, just cargo, so I got no worries there. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, let's get our pushback. And if I remember right, we're going up the other way, so what would we have done if we wouldn't have had better pushback? It would have been terrible.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
I'm ready.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Masterclass, jeez. Are you kidding? I don't mind this aircraft, you know, it is a bit old school, but it's not totally, you know, it's got, you know, GPS, the FMC, and, you know, a bit of reasonable sort of glass cockpit in it. It's sort of a bit of a mix, really, isn't it?
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Okay, now before I go anywhere, I'd better put in our QNH, which is 1019. Because we've got to do it on the backup as well. And we've got to do it on the first officers. And here's something that we should also do that I don't think a lot of people bother to do. Just hang on a sec here, we go to FMC.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
I will in a minute. Okay, 122, 124 and 134. Now one over to 250. And I'll bring these three around. First one is 122, then 124, which means they're pretty well close together. Come on down. Now you go up a bit. Yeah, really a bit fiddly. I'm going to leave that one. What was is it 134? That's about there. And I dropped this one down to 8 for 80 knots. Okay, so that's done. And he wants me to take off the brake.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Okay, these come up, backs go off. And this fellow should start. Salim Rashid, I hope I pronounced that right. Ryan Roth as well, welcome to the stream. I just check to make sure that we're getting some, oh yeah, there we go, N2's rising nicely. Very quick this aircraft to start up. Okay, this is engine number 2. And see how quickly the N2 rises on this aircraft? Whereas on the Mad Dog it takes like forever. I was actually watching a video the other day on the MD-11 and boy oh boy, if they do the full systems on that aircraft, holy cow, you think the MD-80 something? Okay, we're right to go over to our main power supply. That comes off, this comes off, our hydraulics come on. We should switch over our electricity over to Gen 1. We can put our pitot on. And everything looks pretty good, mate. We've got our yaw damper. I should put that on later, but I'm lazy. Fasten seat belts. Even though we've got no passengers, I'll put it on anyway. Are you talking about me, Slim, me of not having a blue badge?
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
I don't think I need a blue badge, do I?
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
While we're waiting for him. We'll start the clock too while we're here. And TARA. Don't need to touch too much down here. I sometimes have the nav aids on.
Tow is disconnected and bypass bin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
I don't think I missed anything. Now I just got to find out where I've got to go. Handbrake can come off. Flaps. Hello, the ward. Yeah, I stream whenever I can. My problem is family who don't know how to read signs on the door that says do not disturb, and then of course in the background too, so it's it can be very disruptive. So what I have been doing in the past is doing some just video recordings. Now we get over there now. I think we're pretty right if we do a turn about here somewhere. There we are. This aircraft, of course, as a lot of you know, has got some of the best sounds. And we've got a bit of a hill up here in front of us. Yeah, I see that, the warden. I don't think anybody can beat Geo though. He's first officer. Oh boy. I think we're pretty right to go this way and not that other way, because steering on this is a little bit twitchy. And then again, my pedals are probably good quality. And while you're there, the warden, I can tell you that little story I was going to tell you before about UGG boots. What actually happened was they were invented in Australia and they were very popular here. Then somehow some firm in America got into manufacturing and that was okay, competition's okay, but then they came in and put a copyright or whatever it is you call it on the name UGG boots, and it turned into a bit of a court battle because the people who originally invented them in Australia, just they weren't allowed to call them Ugg boots anymore because the American firm said, no, you can't call them Ugg boots. So it all went to court, and I believe eventually the Aussie guys won the case. But it's, you know, it's this copyright thing on names that can drive people mad if you're in business. I think Branston from Virgin, he put copyright on anybody who wanted to use the name Virgin this, Virgin that. So it does get out of hand a bit. It's quite a long taxiway, but we're nearly there. So I hope everybody's having a good Tuesday evening. I think though for Dougal it's almost like 4 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday where he is. He's always up late. Yeah, trademarks, that's the name I was thinking of. Well, it's a wonder that Bill Gates hasn't stopped everybody from using the name Windows. So when you go to your house, you can't open your window anymore unless you get permission, or you can't call it a window. Somehow I don't think that would have got far. Okay, we're getting close to first turn off. I think because we're light, we can take that today. Okay, better put on our strobe. Just do a turn here first. And we've got to flick over our flight switch. Yeah, I'm doing a bit of wandering here, so don't mind me. Come on, come down.
Approaching 3-4 left.
Thank you. So do a bit of a rolling start here.
On runway 3-4 left.
Okay, power on, auto throttle on. Toga. I don't know why we're getting the fuel. I think we've burned our fuel up already.
80 knots.
Check.
V1.
Jeez,
Rotate.
that was quick. Holy cow.
Positive rate. Gear up.
Oh geez, she's a nice aircraft to fly this thing. Look at that, it's so easy. I'm going to ignore that fuel. I think it's because the centre tank's empty. Let's have a quick look outside. Let's just get our LNAV going now and we'll get that organised. Let's have a look at our speed of climb. Well, let's do a vertical speed on this one, and yeah, we'll drop that down a bit. There we go. Okay, might have to do some flap adjustment here. Come up with the first one. Let's go over to, let's do our VNAV straight away. I'm lazy today. Yeah, I think the fuel is probably won't go any lower than 180 on this, so I'm just going to turn off the centre tanks and hope that warning doesn't come up anymore. Speed's going up. Let's get our flaps all the way up. Let's have a look at our legs. 7.2, 250 knots. It's going up to 250. You can see it's set there. Lovely. Now we should see some good views up here. Can't say that the scenery isn't too bad. What we might do is that one down, put this to 0. How's everything looking? Going to be doing the first of our turns coming up. Transition altitude 14, 140. That sound is just Captain K, love the little screen. Turn coming up. Looks like our speed restriction 250 up until about 7,000 feet, so it should be on 250 now. There we go. That's dead as a doornail there. I don't think I could be able to fix that. Overhead duct. I get that a fair bit actually. I'm not doing something quite right. Probably not going to see the airport by the time we get up to yep, probably going to be pretty high. It's a waypoint Aston now, so we're going to be up to 25,000 Okay, what's happening there? I think that's our... I think that's to do with this pressure. So we're in flight. Something to do with the bleed. Okay. Oh, I know why. Let's see. Can't close them, eh? Yeah, Captain P, you're talking about me and being able to finally get a chance, yep. So now I know why the horn went off. Jake, you can get it off, oh, what's that crowd? X, what do they call themselves? They send me emails all the time wanting to push particular aircraft. Now, unfortunately, I cannot close. I don't think it won't allow me to do it. Well, there we go. It's right. Here we go. Okay, so that's good. That's done. So all our warnings now have gone off. That's good. Although that they'll stay on because it messed up. Alright, we're well past that transition height. I got caught up with that, so back to 1-3. That's the 1-3. Same thing there. So Tokyo Okay, thanks Vixian. I should remember that. Like I said, they keep sending me emails trying to sell me different aircraft. And from what I remember, it's not a cheap aircraft, isn't it? Up around about 60 something US dollars. Might turn that sound down a bit. Oh, wrong button. Can't use that. Have to use this one. How's that? That sound a bit better? Gee, we're nearly at cruising height already. 320. One thing I found annoying to me it was annoying, was every time you wanted to go through your different modes and ranges for the MFD, you had to go down here and see, I can't even remember, here you move these ones around as you, so for example with the range, if you move the range, you see the pop out would come out on the left. One of the updates they did was to enable you to make it a bit larger, because it was looking a bit small. But I got quite sick of doing that. See, for example, on this one, so what I did was I assigned it to some buttons on my joystick, and you see what happens once you move back, that pop out disappears. So I assigned it to a joystick button, and this is what I can do. I can cycle through the different modes, and left and right will give me the ranges. Now that's right at the end, so what I'll do is to go back, and there's number, that's where we are now. So that's down to about 5 nautical miles and goes to 10, just keeps going up. So now that will stay there if you don't touch anything, but if you move the mouse around and just say slightly slide it, it disappears out of your way. You don't need this anymore. And we may as well put in our Kagashima RJFK. briefing. That should be the one. So just a single runway. Let's have a look at our arrival. Okay, our star was Simaz, whatever it was. It's probably a northern arrival. Let's see if that's the one. It certainly does look like a northern. Simaz is there. That's can't be right. 102D we'll get rid of, and then we'll get another one. Try east. Wouldn't mind betting this is ours. So we got Speaker, Janus, Celes, Kepler. Speaker, Janus, Celes. Let's have a look. There they are. Speaker, Janus, Celes, Kepler, Muses, Shimaz. Okay, next one. Let's go to our approach. And we're going for an ILS. It was Zulu. Runway 34. Okay. Looks like we're going to have initial approach. It's at 330 down to 280. And then we've got it set at 210. Dropping from 280 to 210. I've had some problems coming into this on this approach before, so I'll have to watch myself. Meanwhile, top of descent's another 411, with quite a way to go there. Let's look at our initial VREF. Lap speed. Well, we're going to be pretty light, so you know, look at this, 100. We can do a flaps 30 at 127 knots. Go 30 to 127. We'll add our 5. It's 132. That's pretty slow. There's our ILS already. Frequency. And 337 is the course. Let's have a look at our weather. Make sure it doesn't look like there's going to be any changes. QNH 1024. Yeah, that fuel sign before was because we were out of fuel there. It's back down to 50, that's what it'll stay at. we're here, let's put some fixed rings in. Romeo, Juliet, Foxtrot, Kilo. Let's do a 20, a nautical mile. Let's do a 10. And a 5. So they're done. I don't know why that top of climb was shown there, but on and off. Don't know why it's doing that. It shouldn't be. See that? And it disappears. Just one of those little bugs that that the FMC's got. Don't really need to put these on, do we? Put them off. Pardon me. It's only run off, on or off. Okay, that's still had it up there. Somehow we won't be able to fix that. And the duct is overheating. I've got it on passenger there. Let's go over to supply duct. Somehow I don't think it's going to work. Let's slip it over to warm. Right, so we've burnt something out. We've got 40 psi. Yeah. Yeah, top of climb again there. Let's put in our, while we're waiting, something to do, let's put in our decision height. It's quite a lot, isn't it? 1059 must be. Let's have a look and see how high that elevation is. Where are we? Elevation 883 feet. So what I'm going to do is come down here. we go. Yeah, there's a nice crosswind. I believe the name of that city down there is Kagashima. Though I'm not 100% certain how I pronounce these names. There's an airport just around about here. I think that's where it is. Or it could be over there. Or over there. And if you can pronounce it, you're better than I am. It's Shizuokoku-shi. There's another one a bit further down that we're actually going to use as a waypoint, and it's called, let's see if I can pronounce this one. No, that's Shizuoka International Airport. So put in our course. And we're just cruising along. Geo. Welcome to the stream, Geo. It's a damn shame, isn't it, that we've got to, we can't use any of those copyrighted songs. I got a heap of them that'd go over well when you're flying. Black Knight, I don't have the 200, but I have the 727. I was a bit sort of hesitant about getting the 200. I probably actually got a Qantas repaint for the 727. I'll have to look at it sometime. In a roundabout way, I probably wished that I would have got the 200 rather than the 727. But it's a case of money, of course, and now I just noticed that they're talking more about the MD-11 getting closer. And the other one too is the Falcon 50 from Aerobasque. So they're two aircraft that I'm looking forward to getting, if I can scrape up some money. Yeah, but I probably, in retrospect now, maybe should have got the 200 instead of the 727. I'll turn down our lady here. I assume it's a lady singing. And with the 200, I believe it probably would have been interesting to fly that particular aircraft up northern Canada, where I believe they still operate to this day, and they fly in and out of the mining camps, and they have that kit on them for the dirt runways, stop all the pebble ingestion. The only thing, of course, is that can't be completely replicated in XB10, XB11. Can't have stones flying all over the place. put in a little map. That city below us there. If I can pronounce this one too, I'll be doing well. It's called Kagashima. Transair repaint, so we're at Transair operating that night. Oh, that looks good. You know, I can't remember whether Qantas ever did operate the 200. I can't even remember if they operated the 300 either. I think it would have been one or the other to start with. So we see how far we are. There's still another 276 nautical miles for top of descent. It was quite a long, it is a long flight. You wouldn't think so up around Japan. You'd think there'd be a lot of short hops. Might just flick up, oh, that's all, who was that? That was, so we'll just throw this up for a second. Well, that's Alaska stream. Here's our briefing here. 2 hour air time. I certainly need some more music. Like I said, it'd be good if we could get the some of that copyrighted music up and running, but it's just the way it is. I'm just looking at this thing here. I might have to come down from that 3,300. I think if I come down to straight from just straight into 2,000, we should be able to intercept that localizer. I think this is where I got myself in trouble before. I didn't watch the altitude, and I think, yeah, I didn't get the ILS underneath the glide path, so I'm going to have to watch that. Here's our go around. It's pretty straightforward, just approach, just climb 1300, turn left, hold at 45. Bit of a holding area there. You can actually go, I believe this aircraft you can do a holding pattern. It's been a while, but you don't often get called to do it. I'm pretty certain it's built in. Actually, Black Knight, I believe they were using the MD-80 too at one stage. In fact, that's about the only livery I've got for anywhere in Asia, because from what I can see, there are virtually hardly any operators of the McDonnell Douglas, the 80, or anything after that. And if they did, apart from Japan, I think maybe there may have been one or two others, but not that many. I noticed that a lot of the Asian countries are big into Airbuses. I think Indonesia probably goes for Boeings a fair bit, but when you get up to Malaysia and Thailand and those sort of countries, I think they really go for the Airbus. Yeah, so like I said, I'm pretty short on any decent liveries for the MD-80 up that way. And of course we never operated in Australia either, so the one I've got with the Qantas livery, or actually it's not Qantas, it's Qantas Link, but Qantas Link actually operate the what is it, the Boeing 117, which in essence I suppose is the MD-80. But there's not a lot of them here. We do have some Fokkers, tail mounted. We do have the largest fleet of Saabs 410s, operated by Rex Aviation, and I've seen the odd one flying in and out of Cairns here. So they do all of the regionals, the small airports, a lot of outback stuff. Do some coastal routes, although okay, the pandemic's changed things a lot, of course, like it has the rest of the world, but they were competing with Qantas and Virgin doing some of these coastal routes, and they lost out on a few. And of course Qantas and I'm not so sure about Virgin, but Qantas was running Dash 8s, you know, what do you call it, Q400s. So you see plenty of Dash 8s flying in and out of Cairns. both the early ones and the old models. In fact, it's BAE, I think it's BAE, no, Hawker Pacific. Hawker Pacific have got a maintenance facilities up here for looking after all the de Havillands. And it's not, it's pretty often that when you're driving into the city and on the left-hand side of the airport, you see any number of Dash 8s lined up, and some in the actual, it's like a hangar, I suppose you could call it a hangar, but it's got a big white vinyl roof on the top. And of course there's a fairly big GA area in Cairns, because you get a lot of station properties that go in now towards the west, and it's more convenient than for have a light aircraft like a Cessna or a Piper or whatever. They have a dirt strip on their station property, and they just fly into Cairns or Townsville, maybe, to go and do some of their shopping and then fly back out again. Much quicker, better than taking the road, the road trip. And we also, Cairns also is a base for a lot of aircraft that fly up to North Queensland, up to the top of the Cape and what we call the Gulf country. And a lot of them also fly out of Cairns to go to some of the Southwest Pacific islands, New Caledonia, Vanuatu, and up to New Guinea. It's the, I'm not quite sure at the moment, but it was the 6th busiest airport in Australia a couple of years ago. Max Alex, welcome to the stream. Hello. I think I mentioned too, Black Knight, there's a short Belfast cargo aircraft sitting at Cairns Airport. It's been, I suppose you'd have to use the word abandoned. It used to be operated by Heavy Lift. I believe it was as bulky and as heavy as it looked. It used to be able to carry some quite heavy cargo, lots of drilling equipment and stuff like that. But Heavy Lift, I think, were head office was based in Philippines, so they had the short Belfast here and two 727 Boeings that were converted over to cargo. Next Generation Flights, welcome to the stream. Yeah, and just getting back to Heavy Lift, I think the short Belfast, there was only about 10 of them built and were supposed to be the mainstay for the Royal Air Force as their main cargo aircraft, but they were eventually stopped production on that aircraft and chose the Lockheed Hercules. And I was reading up, one of the main reasons why Shorts lost the contract to build any more was because the ramp at the back of the aircraft, I'm not quite sure how it worked, but it just meant that the Hercules could drop its ramp and drop the cargo or paratroopers off, but with the Belfast it couldn't do it. It was one of the main reasons why it sort of died, but then they were picked up by civilian operators like Heavy Lift, and I believe Heavy Lift operated out of Belgium and the UK for a while, but heavy lift in Australia eventually closed down, went broke. They actually chopped up the one of the 727s on the ramp. One day I drove past and here they were busy tearing it all apart. But at the moment the short Belfast is sitting to one side in the airport, and I suppose they've got outstanding fees and things like that, so who knows. I believe it could be made airworthy in a short time. Yeah, next generation, the IXEG 300. I bought this one. This is the first first airliner, tube liner that I bought when I got into X-Plane way back. Needs a few updates, since it came out, and the fact of the matter is they are very slow at updating it. Yeah, so we're flying between Narita and Kagashima in the cargo version. There's a bit of a crosswind for you with that. Yeah, of course, one of the updates they're talking about is switching over to F-mod, and everybody's keeping their fingers crossed that it doesn't lose that beautiful flyby sound. And it's got the old steam gauges here. Yeah, next gen, there's quite a lot of liveries available for this aircraft, some unusual ones. Okay, you got this cargo one. You can also get FedEx. Let's see, what's our progress like? 198 nautical miles, top of descent. They did a pretty good detail too, didn't they, on those windows? Have a look at the other side. There's a navi tab there too as well in the way. But they actually open, but obviously you can't do that now on the ground. So, but I don't think they did too much with it, this, did they? See if I can walk it forward a little bit. I'm a bit rusty, I've forgotten how to do this, but there we go. Yeah, unfortunately though, you can't open the side doors here. They've been asked to do something about it time and time again, but they sort of say, oh no, we'll concentrate on the FMC. Yeah, next gen, it's going to be a long time before you see this type of aircraft in Microsoft. I think they're going to concentrate on the, all the new stuff. your latest Airbuses, and I suppose there's going to be the 380's going to be in there. I believe already someone has bought out a Max, although the initial reviews I've seen say it's not all that good and it's overpriced, so I haven't checked that out yet. But I doubt it's going to be anywhere near the quality of PMG or anything like that. Look at that, isn't that a great view, eh, that engine? During the latest update they did something with that cowling. They made it look a little bit, I think they either dull it down or make it a little bit shiny, I'm not sure. It's a great looking aircraft. Yeah, you mean like this, late night. It's in here somewhere, isn't it? Where did I see it? There. Should change it. There you go. Yeah, they have thrown in a few options. I know there's one there, you can change the height of the yoke so you can see the instruments a bit better. Let's have a look. Now I know you've got your weights in kilograms or tons. Enable custom animation. Use the AVI tab. Yep. Disable the mini EHSI window. Now, of course, I have got the big version. Just like it bigger, that's all. Shame it doesn't pop out to one side so that you can switch it over another screen, but you can't have everything, can you? Yes, so disable the main menu pop out. Well, that's this thing, which I've disabled. And I put it on I've got a spare rocker switch on my joystick to make this pop in and out. Disable the ghost throttles. I rather like the ghost throttles. They can, particularly shortly when we go into descent, I've got my throttles all the way forward now, so when it comes to descent, the phantom throttles pop up and you can just match it. Just one of those little things. Throttle mouse ops for VR, I'm not quite sure what that's about. Obviously if you've got VR you know what it means. 2 separate joy axes for throttle. Aircraft has eyebrow windows. You can turn that on and off. There's your steam gauges. Rain on ice. Winglets. Personally, I like this aircraft without winglets. I think it's looks more old school without the winglets. Let's have a look. It's getting close now. Top of descent there in about. Oh, another 160. Oh, that's okay. We're getting there. Yeah, Black Knight, that Belfast, they just painted the whole thing white. And it's just sitting there. I suppose it would be better off in a museum somewhere, like in the UK. That it's a case of, could you fly it? You know, would it be able to be brought up to standards? You know, the proper flight condition, and then you'd have to get somebody to be able to fly it, and then it's going to cost you heaps in fuel to get it up over to the UK. So it'd have to be somebody with a big checkbook. But it's a shame that something can't be done about it, because it's just sitting there in the weather. I think didn't I give you a photograph of it once, back some time ago? Or was that Dougal, I think? Let's have a look at our map. Now we're doing a bit of some legs over the ocean now. Can any of you speak Japanese or read Japanese? Because I can't. There you go. That's right, Black Knight in Air, you remember? It was you, wasn't it? Was it you that recognised it? If you're ever interested in restoration of military aircraft, there's something you should have a look at one day on YouTube. And look around for a fighter that was built in Australia during the Second World War called the Commonwealth Boomerang. Now, it was rushed into production because of the threat of the Japanese invading Australia, and it holds the record for something that started from the drafting board to actually flying. I think 3 months, something like that. mind you, that it used a lot of existing parts in the Harvard train from America, and also what was being built in Australia at the time called the Wirra Way. There are only so many never built, and they weren't exactly very good as a fighter aircraft. They lacked the power at altitude. They wanted to put some superchargers on the Pratt & Whitney radials, but the Americans wouldn't sell it to whatever the reason. So they were relegated to the role of a ground attack aircraft, and they did very well. But after the war, most of them sort of disappeared. Like everything else, they were scrapped. But I happened to work with a fellow once whose son decided he wanted to restore a boomerang to flying condition. He did this over like 10 years or whatever it was, and eventually he got it done. So he and some others, eventually there's about 3 of them that were restored, and I think 2 of them are actually flying. The guy who did the restoration here in Australia was a guy called Matt Denning, and if you know a guy in the US called what's his name? It's just on the tip of my tongue. Oh, he's very well known. Kermit something or other. So Kermit has commissioned Matt to do another one of these aircraft, and he's in the process of scrapping together parts to make one. But if you want to go to YouTube at some time and see if you can find one where you can see and hear the actual aircraft flying, it's a great little aircraft, and it's the sound is very reminiscent of Stuka, the sound the Stukas made. Only in the case of the Stukas, they had actual special horns or something or other integrated on the wheels, whereas the sound this makes is the wind over the open gun ports, and it's a unique sound of its own. Very, very rare aircraft. But if you've got a chance, look up Commonwealth Boomerang Fighter and watch some of the displays. It's very interesting. Yeah, the guy I was trying to remember was Kermit Weeks. He's done quite a lot of, he's got some sort of a museum in America, a lot of these old aircraft. I think he's got Liberator, it's a Liberator bomber, Sunderland flying boat, all types of aircraft, Wirraways and Corsairs, so many of them. So that was my little bit of trivia for you. $113 nautical miles, we're getting there. All the way, slightly off the nose to the right. takes our temperature, but yeah, Black Knight. It can, a lot of people used to think it was a rooster buffalo. Actually, the rooster buffaloes were a terrible aircraft. Combat-wise, up against Japanese, and also I don't think they saw a lot of action in Europe, but I believe the Finnish Air Force used rooster buffaloes, and I believe they did quite okay at the time. I think they were fighting the Russians. Yeah, because eventually Finland and Germany sort of were allies, I believe. Yeah, but the buffalo out here in the Pacific was a disaster. And of course so were the Commonwealth Wirraways. I think on one case they sent up eight aircraft against the Zeros, and not one survived. The whole lot was shot down. They were just so terribly overrated aircraft. And of course the Zero gave everybody a bit of a shock. Funny thing about propaganda to those days, my father, he flew Bristol Beaufort bombers during the Second World War up in New Guinea and around there, but I remember him telling me, he said when the Japs first started coming down and the war was on, he said he still remembers to this day, he said the headline on the local papers read, "Jap Air Force lousy." Jap Air Force lousy. And he said they wouldn't tell the population that the Jap Zero was clearing the skies of everything. It was just so much better than what the Allies had until later on, of course. Yeah, but he always used to tell me that little story. Jap Air Force lousy. Okay, here's our top of descent coming up, just here. Good idea if I have a look at the weather again. Now active sky is supposed to update. Okay, what have we got? QNH. UNH is still 1024, that's the same, that's to remain the same. And we'll look up here in our briefing. Everything's still right. Wind's changed a bit, we've got variable, look at that, it's only two knots, that should be an easy landing. That's why it's now no longer putting the candidate runway in anymore, because with only two knots, the could be either end of the runway. I'm going to stick with 3-4 though. I closed the door? No, I didn't. Yeah, Black Knight, the Beaufort was built in Australia, obviously, you know, with the permission of Bristol, and it was probably the #1 most manufactured aircraft at the time in this country during wartime. But I tell you what, it was a dangerous aircraft. There were a lot of them that went down, and my father was telling me that it had all these little quirks about it. You had to know what you were doing, because it'd kill you in no time. But of course, out of the Beaufort bomber came the Beaufighter, and that was a great aircraft. And I think that was, if I remember right, that was a torpedo bomber, whereas the Beaufort was just a plain light medium bomber. I think that the problems that the Bristol aircraft had was their engines. I think it was Bristol Hercules. There was one other. I think they're talking about wet sleeve engines. And it's a wet valve or something like that. It was a different technique in combustion chamber. They weren't all that reliable. Yeah, they had a lot of aircraft, didn't they? The RAF at the start of the war that were really should never have gone up to fight. But then again, the Germans found out quick smart, didn't they, that when they tried to bring the Stuka over to England, they pretty well got cleaned up. There was no match up against the Spitfires and the Hurricanes. better start getting down to business here. We're coming up top of descent now. Just looking at my approach here again. The initial approach is in at 3,300 down to 2.8. Now because I've had trouble coming in here before, I'm going to take it down to 2.8 straight up. I said we're going to have to cross that stretch of water first. That's about 70 nautical miles across, and we'll be commencing our descent just as we get along a bit further. It's got about 50, 60, is it? No, 46 nautical miles. Yeah, here too as well. And now we'll see whether our FMC doesn't cause us any problems. Sometimes what happened is that top of descent is not in the right place. It tends to be too far that way. Now I've been able to keep a check on that using a little nav map, because a little nav map will predict where the top of descent should be. And right now it's not exactly spot on, but we're looking at roughly 70 nautical miles according to little nav map. But this is saying 40, so I'm happy if it does start the descent now within 40 rather than agreeing with little nav map, which is something like about 63. That's how I've picked up sometimes on why it goes wrong. And the top of descent sitting up here where it should be, where it is there now. So it's always good as a backup. Okay. I wonder whether it's worthwhile if I put the I'm going to put down the terrain select, see what happens. So we're coming into an area that, what was it? Yeah, it was 800 feet. Probably not a bad idea to have our terrain on. Actually, Black Knight, yeah, it wasn't the only one to have its own quirks. Yet it applied no matter what one flew. B-24 in its cargo version were notorious for having issues. Yep. Have you ever read Fate as a Hunter? I know the name, but I don't think... is that what... that Battle of Britain stuff, or later? One of the first books I ever read from school was what's it, Douglas Bader's book, Reach for the Sky. And then the best book I ever got my hands on, which I just loved reading over and over again, was Dam Busters by Paul Brickell. A story of 617 Squadron that also went on beyond the Dams raid, right through when different squadron leaders came along, like Cheshire. There's a couple of others. And of course, Guy Gibson went on to other things after the Dam Busters raid, and he got killed over Europe flying a Mosquito, I think it was, on a Pathfinder mission. But I've read a lot of books. I'm not quite sure about Fate as a Hunter though. Alright, let's get that down to 20. G'day Chief, how are you? Thanks for dropping in. You arrived at a good time. I'm just about to descend. I've got my fingers crossed with this baby because sometimes it just doesn't behave itself and doesn't want to descend. So I hate doing level change on this one for some reason. I just don't like using it. Probably end up switching over to vertical speed if this doesn't work. But it's been pretty good lately, so I've got my fingers crossed. I haven't checked either. Chief, is Alaska still flying? He was doing a long haul out to Tel Aviv. I've still got a way to speaker. Another 6 to the speaker, so we won't be showing up on this for a while. Down to 10. Well, let's see. Actually, I've been pretty lucky with the frame rates on OBS and X-Plane 11. This is Vulcan. So see, I'm getting down here, I'm getting 50 plus. That number up the top is the NVIDIA, what do you call it, that game thing. So the whole trip's been pretty good actually with the frame rates. Doesn't look like there's been any stutters. Alright. They'll be coming up now, fingers crossed. Now we just watch our throttles, they should come back if it's going to work. Come on. Go down, baby, that's what we want. There's our ghost throttles. I matched the ghost throttles. Pull back on the stick. There we go. Well, that's a good sign. And we're dropping. Ah, beauty. That's the bit I don't look forward to the most at all. That's better. Happy about that. Nose down. And I believe we're going to be getting controls from Microsoft in the next couple of updates. Yeah, Black Knight, worth looking up. Castle in the Sky with John Wayne. I don't suppose by any chance he wrote The High and the Mighty. That was a John Wayne movie where he was flying a, looked like a DC-6 or DC-7 that got into trouble. And this is back in the days, of course, before all of those airport movies and some of the other I won't say airplane because you would call that a drama, would you? Okay, now we can go out a bit on our range just to see how things are going. There's our fixed rings. And our terrain radar is showing up there now. Should do another sweep in a minute. Thought I'd be doing it a little bit more regularly there, but come back out a bit. I think it was sweeping there now. That must have been the first sweep. Okay, I got it. Okay, transition height's 14,000. Another quick check on our QNH. Yeah, change 1023. Bit of a weather change there. We've still got variable at 02 knots, so we're going to stick with runway 34. Okay, what's our speeds got to be? It's 280, 280, 240, 230. 230, 222. We're going to be about 510, about 12, 13 nautical miles out, 222. 4, 5, about 10 out of Shamaz for 200. and down 280025, okay. So we're going to be in 1.4 nautical miles, should be at 210 or 213. Speed 28. Yep, that's still on. Coming down and actually increasing now a little bit. Okay, next target's 240 at or above 6,000 with another 22 odd miles. Yeah, a little bit of a turbulence there, just a little bit. That'll probably disappear as we get down. As long as we're getting down to our speed there, it's still 284, 240. Yeah, but it's the old yoke's moving around a bit. Trims are working itself a bit. Oh, not that much. Oh, there we go. What I might do is set our heading for the runway. That's just in case we do our missed approach. Coming down nicely now. So when everything works with this FMC, it's a damn beautiful aircraft to fly. You just got to keep your eye on it. I think, if my memory serves me correct, I think they said the problem they were having with it initially was that their data entry, all their data was a mix of Navigraph and what's the one that Aerosoft do. It was using both databases, and they were getting conflicts. This is my understanding of why I was having all the problems. And the guy, the coder, was going to recode the entire FMC. Yeah, Black Knight, I believe Airplane, which was the comedy movie, It was called Flying High in Australia, but I believe in the States and elsewhere it was called Airplane.
Altimeter setting.
Okay, I heard you, lady. I'm a bit slack there, I know. So we go to 1023. Yeah, it's a big change. 1023 for here. And 1023 for here. She caught me out there. Looks like we've got to put some drag on. This is where the fun and games comes with coming into this, where I messed up in the past. I've got my fingers crossed I don't do it again. Yeah, okay, what do we got here? We're supposed to be at 6 and above in 15. We're down to 11 now. Yeah, speed here is coming down now, 240. So the speed brake's doing its job. Let's jump up here and get out. I know it's putting it over to continuous now, from what I understand from some of the real world pilots, that they don't do that until they're almost like only about on finals sometimes. I think it was flight deck to sim. He basically, I don't think he turns his over to continuous until he's pretty close or well down towards finals. I'm lazy, I do it now. We'll put this on, not that we've got passengers, but... Okay, now this is where it's going to take off the speed brake off again. I'll pull the range out a bit. Let's have a look, 6 and above. It's stuck on 9, we've still got another 10, okay. I'd like to be close to that 6 by the time we get to cells. As I'm looking outside. I'll help it along with vertical speed if I have to. So the restriction is still there though, 6,000 or above. Oh, it's doing well. Yeah, a lot of this the restrictions are because of the mountains. I think they're going to be, yeah, we're coming across some mountains now. Yeah, I'm reading what you're saying there, Black Knight. I should have put the bugs in here, you mean? Over there. Decision height set, Black Knight. I've set both the barometer one, and I've also set one down here in radio. Sometimes I'm not quite sure whether that Barrow one works. It's actually about just over 1,000 for the Barrow, and it's 200 for the radio. So we're coming up, we're just up above 6.7. We've got 6 nautical miles to get to Sellies and 4.1 and above. Our speed's 250, no, 230. So we're right with the speed so far. What I like about the Mad Dog is you can do an FMC override, control the speed yourself, but still it stays with the LNAV and the VNAV. It's very, very handy. We're going to be doing a right hand turn to come over here, but if this doesn't get down to my set 2800, I'm going to do the vertical speed override. Four 9. Yeah, it's not too bad, is it? 4.1 and above or above. So we've picked up our localizer. Yeah, a little bit nervous with this approach. Like I said, I messed it up so many times, so it's become a bit of a challenge for me. Okay, here's our right hand turn. We'll have to watch this speed. 235, 230. I like it to be a bit slower than that. Okay, we're picking up the ILS already. Don't like the 230 though. I'm going to take the first flap anyway, just see what happens here. I'm going to slow it down a bit. So with 3.3 we need to be down to 2.8. We're below the glide slope, so we might be okay. Yeah, Chief, it is a bit of a challenge. Like I said, I've messed it up 100 times. So I'm overriding the auto throttle by putting out the speed brake. I'm going to keep that speed down. Come on now, baby, line up for me. Still below the glide slope. We can put on our localizer now. It should swing it back. 213. Now we've got some speed coming down. I'm going to take off the speed brake and I can actually arm it. I don't think I'm going to be needed anymore. 2 flaps, here we go, this is good. Our ILS is coming down. Come on, don't let me down this time. Capture it, capture it. Got it. Okay. Flaps down, 2 flaps 10. Gear down. You beauty. Okay, let's drop that speed right down. VREF on this for this is 132. It's because it's as light as they can get. Not too often I come in at this speed. I'd prefer say 135 just to be on the safe side. We're coming down, our speed now is 160. We're down to flap. Only got one more to go. That's flap 25. We only got 30. Well, this is better. This is better. 150 knots. Come on, keep coming down. Flap 5 is usually the one to slow us down, but let's go 30 now. I'm on 147. Speed's coming
Approaching
down.
3, 4.
Okay, what do we got? Come to 1,000. I'll let it go a little bit further. This is where I made the mistake the other day with the MD-80. Okay, my aircraft.
1,000. Terrain.
Yeah, I know.
Terrain,
I expect to be terrain there.
Terrain. Light 400. Light slow. 300.
Precision height check.
Light slow.
Oh, shut up.
100. Light slow. 50. Light 40. 30. 20. 10.
And reverses are on. How about that, guys? Okay, we can take off our reverses. I think I can turn off here actually. Well, I'm not going to complain about that one. What do you reckon? Good enough? Flaps can come up, eh? Now we can go looking for a gate. Looks like I've got all to myself. Well, that makes up for all the past problems I had landing at Kagashima, whatever. Long as it's not called kamikaze, eh? You know what? I'm just going to go for whatever comes first. It looks like something in front. I don't know whether this auto gate here. I think I'm on the right track, am I? Yep. I must admit I was happy with that. How come there's no marshal out there to greet me and say what a good job you did? Let's have a look at that. There we go, guys. Wowza. Alright, let's see what we can turn. Let's get our yaw damper. That should have gone off a bit earlier. Let's get rid of some of these. We don't really need to touch anything up here. Position 9 anti-collision can come off now. Leave the position on though. We can turn off those, and we may as well even get rid of these. How about that? And we've got to shut the engines down, haven't we? come down there and do that. Come on, come on all the way down. That's better. Yeah, Black Knight. I'll have a look at it now, I suppose, seeing we're winding down. Whoop, I hope that connection stays. Talking about the divine wind, are we? I'm getting this indication that my stream is not good. It might fix itself up, hopefully. I'd like to at least see the replay. Let's go outside and have a look. That's the first one to watch, isn't it? How we come forward a little bit further. Here we go. All criticisms are gladly welcome. Yeah, it's got a message to say that YouTube's not receiving enough video, as such viewers will experience buffering. Hope not, fellas, but yeah, a little bounce, see it. Otherwise, centre line. Centre line for the win, as the XB72 says. Okay, let's take that back and have a quick look. I'm a happy chappy with this one, I can tell you. Yeah, a little bit off centre line there, but look at that. Yeah, look at the bounce on the front wheel there. Mind you, like I said, she's light on. On up from the, have a look at the end one, at the end of the runway. Okay, here we go. 1, 2. Which is it? No, not this one. Yeah, that one. Where are you? I do too far out, did I? Here we go. That's a rocket landing, isn't it? Yeah, thanks, Chief, for dropping in. Do a quick one at from 5, which is the tower view. Doesn't look bad in that paint job, does it? At least this silly thing says good landing. I've had some good landings and it's told me all the passengers have died or I've been fired. Really weird. Okay, just go back a couple more shots and we'll call it a night. Here we go. In we go. Couple of wing views. Yeah, you're right there, Black Knight. It's a different ball game in that aircraft, that's for sure. That's not a bad wing view, is it, that one? Should be able to see our reverses come out, do we? Let's have a look. There they go. That's not bad, is it? They're depicted quite well there. Okay, one more from the other side and that should finish it. Okay, here we go. Going to look from this side now. See what our wheel view. Yeah, that was a bit of a bounce there. Now I'm told it's an excellent landing. You see, you never satisfy that bloody thing. And there we go. Okay, fellas, that's about it for the moment. That was about, not quite sure how long that took. A bit over 2 hours. Oh, easy. I'd say, yeah, easy too. Getting close to 3 hours. So thanks to everybody for dropping in to watch. I'm just going to put that on pause. Oh, hang on, I know what I can do. Just go for preferences and bring that master volume down. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me. It's been a while, like I said, since I streamed, so just looking through the list: Cambo, Vixian, Black Knight for sure. Thanks for all the advice during the whole time. Mahane, McDougal, you should be asleep by now, I hope. Kembo 25, did I mention you? I think it did. Shaquille Oatmeal. Who else we got here? Looking down the list. Ryan Roth, Salim Rashid, the Warden, of course. Captain Peterkin was here for a while. I don't know whether he's still around. He's probably gone to bed. Jake Lewis. Still going. Next Generation Flights, he was here. And Chiefy, of course. G'day, Chiefy. Oh, he's gone. Just about there. Just about there. HD similar. HD. You came at the right time, mate. Oh, dear. Again, look, thanks everybody for joining in. And maybe I can do another one sometime. And when I have a day like today, when I've got the place to myself, I don't have to worry about people barging in. So again, until then, see ya.